Good day, everyone. The lesson today would be about nursing process in pharmacology. This is week 5 based on the syllabus of the Our Lady of Fatima University. For your learning outcome after this lesson, the student should be able to compare and contrast the different steps of the nursing process. Also, identify the health history questions to ask during the assessment phase in order to gather data that are important or pertinent to medication administration. Number 3, describe the 3 areas of concern that are addressed during the diagnosis phase of the nursing process as applied to pharmacotherapy. Number 4, identify the 2 main components of the planning phase of the nursing process. Discuss 3 key interventions required in the implementation phase of the nursing process for patients receiving medications. 6. Explain the importance of the evaluation phase of the nursing process as applied to pharmacotherapy. The nursing process is a systematic method of problem solving that forms the foundation of the nursing practice. The use of the nursing process is particularly important for patients receiving medications. By using the phases of the nursing process, the nurse can ensure that the interdisciplinary practice of pharmacology results in safe, effective, and individualized medication administration and outcomes for patients under their care. Most nursing students enter a pharmacology course after taking a course on the fundamentals of nursing, during which the phases of the nursing process are discussed in detail. So this lesson focuses on how the phases of the nursing process can be applied to pharmacotherapy. Students who are unfamiliar with the nursing process are encouraged to read the books and especially the many excellent fundamentals of nursing textbooks for more detailed explanation. We have specific terminologies that we must be familiar with, starting off with assessment. It is the information gathering regarding the current status of a particular patient, including evaluation of past history, and physical examination. It provides a baseline of information and clues to effectiveness of therapy. Then we have evaluation, part of the nursing process, determining the effects of the intervention that were instituted for the patient and leading to further assessment and interventions. Implementation will be the action undertaken to meet a patient's needs. We have administration of drugs, comfort measures, or patient teaching. Nursing, on the other hand, will be the art of nurturing and administering to the sick, combined with the scientific application of chemistry, anatomy, physiology, biology, nutrition, psychology, and pharmacology to the particular clinical situation. We have nursing process, the problem-solving process used to provide efficient care or efficient nursing care. Uh, Diagnosis statement, carrying out of intervention, and evaluating the process. Now, the nursing process is a systematic method uh, of problem solving that uses a nurse's critical thinking skill to care for the patient. It is a patient-centered dynamic activity, and it is based on ongoing patient data needs and is a collaborative effort between the nurse, patient, and other members of the healthcare team. The nurse relies on knowledge, technical and critical thinking, skills, and even creativity to work through the process of gathering assessment data, establishing nursing diagnosis, planning care with the patient to meet outcomes, implementing, and finally evaluating care. The nursing process is cyclical and each phase is related to all the others. They are not separate entities but they overlap. Now, for example, when a nurse is evaluating whether the pain medication given to the patient has had therapeutic effects and relieved the pain, the nurse relies on assessment skills to evaluate whether the patient is pain free or has obtained some relief from the drug. Now, for the assessment phase. The assessment phase of the nursing process is the systematic collection, organization, validation, and documentation of patient data. Assessment is an ongoing process that begins with the nurse's initial contact with the patient and continues with every interaction thereafter. A health history and physical assessment is completed or are completed during the initial meeting between a nurse and the patient. Baseline data are gathered from the patient that will be compared to information obtained from later interactions during and following the treatment. Assessment consists of gathering subjective data, which include what the patient says or perceives, and objective data gathered through physical assessment, laboratory tests, and other diagnostic sources. The accuracy of the data gathered during the assessment phase will affect the choice of nursing diagnosis, goals and outcomes determined in the planning phase, and the interventions used to meet those goals. During the assessment phase, the nurse's critical thinking skills, knowledge, and technical skills are vital to ensuring the accuracy of the assessment. The initial health history is tailored to the patient's clinical condition, wherein a complete history, it is the most detailed, but the nurse must consider the appropriateness of this history given the patient's current condition. Often, the nurse takes a problem-focused or chief complaint history that focuses on the symptoms that led the patient to seek care. In any history, the nurse must assess key components that could potentially affect the outcomes of drug administration. Essential questions to ask in the initial history relate to history of drug allergy, past medical history, medications currently used, personal and social history, including the use of alcohol, tobacco, or caffeine. Health risks such as the use of street drugs or illicit substances, and reproductive health questions such as the pregnancy, status of women of childbearing age. Assessment should always include the use of over-the-counter drugs, dietary supplements, and herbal products because these agents have the potential to affect drug therapy. Once pharmacotherapy is initiated, ongoing assessments are conducted to determine the effectiveness of the medications. Assessment should first focus on determining whether the patient is experiencing the expected therapeutic benefits from the medication. For example, if a drug is given for symptoms of pain, has the pain subsided? If an antibiotic is given for an infection, have the signs of that infection improved over time? If a patient is not experiencing the therapeutic effects of the medication, then the nurse must conduct further assessment to determine possible reasons. Dosages are reviewed and the serum drug levels may be obtained. Assessment during pharmacotherapy should also identify any adverse effects experienced by the patient. Assessment should include the patient's perception of the adverse effects as well as follow-up of vital signs and laboratory reports. Here again, baseline data are compared with the current assessment to determine what changes have occurred since the initiation of pharmacotherapy. Finally, it is important to assess the ability of the patient to assume responsibility for self-administration of medication. Will the patient require assistance obtaining or purchasing prescribed medications or with taking them safely? What kind of medication storage facilities exist and are they adequate to protect the patient, others in the home, and the efficacy of the medication? Does the patient understand the uses and effects of this medication and how it should be taken? Do assessment data suggest that the use of this medication might present a problem, such as difficulty swallowing large capsules or an inability to administer parenteral medications at home when necessary? After analyzing the assessment data, the nurse determines patient-specific nursing diagnosis appropriate for the drugs prescribed. These diagnoses will form the basis for the remaining steps of the nursing process. We can see here the parts of the nursing process wherein they are all intertwined or connected with each other. Assessing, you have the collection of the data, organization, validation, and the documentation of the information gathered from the patient themselves. The diagnosing part is the analysis of the gathered data, wherein the identification of the health problems, certain risks, and the strengths of the patient are assessed and checked. Formulation of diagnostic statements are then created. For the planning part, prioritization of certain problems and diagnosis will be done. Formulation of specific goals, desired outcomes, and selected nursing interventions. Or in this case, specific nursing interventions are needed. Then would be the writing of the nursing interventions. For the implementation phase, the reassessment of the patient, determination of the nurse's needs for assistance, and implementation of the nursing interventions. Wherein supervision is done, that is delegated with care, and the documentation of the nursing activities. Evaluating part will be the collection of the data related to the outcomes done after all the assessment, diagnosis, uh, planning, and implementations are done. The nursing actions must relate to the patient's uh, result of intervention. And this is the drawing of the conclusion wherein the assessment of the status of the problem is determined and checked. We have here comprehensive data collection For the history, this is the patient's past experiences and illnesses that can influence a drug's effect. This will help to promote safe and effective use of the drug and prevent adverse effects, clinically important drug-to-drug, drug-to-food, or drug alternative therapy interactions, and medication errors. For your chronic condition, we're talking about chronic conditions that can affect the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of a drug. Certain conditions such as your renal disease, heart disease, diabetes, and chronic lung disease may be contraindication to the use of a drug. For your drug use, we're talking about prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, street drugs, alcohol, nicotine, alternative therapies, and caffeine that may have an impact on the drug's effects. Over-the-counter drugs or alternative therapies uh, are often neglected because they do not uh, consider them to be actual drugs, or the patient may be unwilling to admit their use to the healthcare provider. As of allergies, a patient's history of allergies can affect drug therapy. Past exposure to a drug or other allergens can provoke a future reaction or necessitate the need for cautious use of the drug, food, or animal product. For your level of education and understanding, the gathering of information about the patient's level of understanding about the current condition, illness, or drug therapy helps the nurse to determine where the patient is in terms of his or her status and the level of explanation that will be required. We have stress, disease, and environmental factors. All of this can all affect a patient's learning, readiness, and ability. For social support, the patients are gathered before they are discharged from a healthcare facility earlier than ever before, often with continuing care needs. Often, patients would need help at home with care and drug therapy. For your financial supports, financial constraints may cause a patient not to follow through with a prescribed drug regimen. For example, the drug may be too expensive or the patient may lack the means to get to a pharmacy to obtain the drug. In some situations, a less expensive drug might be appropriate in place of a very expensive drug. For the pattern of healthcare, knowing how a patient seeks healthcare provides the nurse with valuable information to include when preparing the patient's teaching plan. Information about the patterns of healthcare also provides insight into conditions that the patient may have but has not reported, or medication use that has not been stated. For your physical examination to determine if any condition exists that would be contraindication or cautions for using the drug, and to develop a baseline of evaluating the effectiveness of the drug and the occurrence of any adverse effects. The weight, a patient's weight helps to determine if the drug recommended dose is enough and appropriate for the patient. The child's developmental age for the age group will explain or influence the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. The immature liver may not metabolize the drugs in the same way as in the adults, or the kidneys may not be as efficient as those of an adult. As patients age, the body undergoes many normal changes that can affect drug therapy, such as a decreased blood volume, decreased gastrointestinal absorption, reduced blood flow to muscles or skin, and changes in receptor site responsiveness. Now, the table format that you can see provides pertinent questions that the nurse may ask during an initial health history that provide baseline data before medication are administered. The nurse must remember that what is not being asked may be as important as what is being said. For instance, a patient may deny symptoms of pain while grimacing or guarding a certain area from being touched. The nurse must use observation skills during the history to gather such critical data. Along with the health history, a physical assessment is completed to gather objective data on the patient's condition. The nurse may obtain vital signs, weight, height, a head-to-toe physical assessment, and laboratory specimens. These provide the baseline data to compare with future assessments and guide the healthcare provider in deciding which medications to prescribe. Because many medications can affect the heart rate and blood pressure, the nurse should carefully document chronic conditions of the cardiovascular system. Now, baseline electrolytes values are important parameters to obtain. Because many medications affect electrolyte imbalance, renal and hepatic function tests are essential for many patients, particularly older adults and those who are critically ill, because kidneys and liver disease often require adjustments in drug dosages. For your nursing diagnosis, the nursing diagnoses are clinical judgment of a patient's actual or potential health problem that is within the nurse's scope of practice to address. Nursing diagnoses provide the basis for establishing goals and outcomes, planning interventions, and evaluating the effectiveness of the care given. Now, medical diagnoses that focus on a disease or condition, unlike medical diagnoses that focus on a disease or condition, nursing diagnoses focus on a patient's response to actual or potential health and life processes. Now we have the NANDA, or the North American Nursing Diagnosis Association. It defines nursing diagnosis as a clinical judgment about individual, family, or community responses to actual or potential health and life processes. A nursing diagnosis provides the basis for selection of nursing interventions to achieve outcomes for which the nurse is accountable. Nursing diagnoses are often the most challenging part of the nursing process. Why? Sometimes the nurses identify what is believed to be patient's problem only to discover from further assessment that the planned goals or outcomes uh, and interventions have not solved a problem. A key point to remember is that nursing diagnosis focus on the patient's need, not the nurse's needs. A primary nursing role is to enable patients to become active participants in their own care. By including the patient in identifying needs, the nurse encourages the patient to take a more active role in working towards meeting the identified goals. For your nursing diagnosis, we have 5 actual types of nursing diagnosis. You have your actual, which is currently happening to your patient based on the responses supported by the different current characteristics of the illness. Risk or high risk, we're talking about how susceptible the patient is to a particular problem. Possible is the suspected problems that is needing additional supporting data. For the wellness part, we're talking about clinical judgment about transition from one level to a higher level of being, wherein the patient would experience better health and well-being. Syndrome, this is a cluster and signs of symptoms that would be able to predict specific circumstances, but syndrome would be talking about different types of clustered illnesses that may be pointing to different levels and different signals of illnesses. Nursing diagnosis that focus on drug administration may address actual problems such as the treatment of pain. It could focus on potential problems such as a risk for deficient fluid volume or concentrate on maintaining the patient's current level of wellness. The diagnosis is written as a 1, 2, or 3-part statement depending on whether the statement of the nurse or the nurse is able to identify a wellness type, a risk type, or the actual problem. Actual and risk problems include the diagnostic statement and related factor or inferred cause. Actual diagnosis also contain a third part, the evidence gathered to support the chosen statement. Now, there are many diagnoses appropriate to medication administration. Some are nursing specific that the nurse can manage independently, whereas other problems are multidisciplinary and would require collaboration with other members of the healthcare team. Two of the most common nursing diagnoses for medication administration are deficient knowledge and non-compliance. Knowledge deficit may occur when the patient is given a new prescription and has no previous experience with the medication. This diagnosis may also be applicable when a patient has not received adequate education about the drugs being prescribed. When obtaining a medication history, the nurse should assess the patient's knowledge regarding the drugs currently being taken and evaluate whether the drug education was adequate. Non-compliance, sometimes called non-adherence, although this is not a recognized diagnosis, is the NANDA taxonomy. It assumes that the patient was properly educated about the medication but has made the decision not to take it. It is vital that the nurse assess possible factors leading to the non-compliance before establishing this diagnosis. Now, does the patient understand why the medication was prescribed? Was dosing and scheduling information explained? Are adverse effects causing the patient to refuse the medication? Are cultural, religious, or social issues impacting the decision not to take the medication? Is the non-compliance related to adequate financial resources? Now, the table provides an approved list of common nursing diagnoses applicable to pharmacotherapy. This is not an exhaustive list of all NANDA-approved diagnoses, and the establishment of new diagnoses and the research and rewarding of previous diagnoses is ongoing. The nurse is encouraged to consult books on nursing diagnosis or more information on establishing, writing, and researching other nursing diagnoses that may apply to drug administration. The planning phase of the nursing process prioritizes diagnosis, formulates desired outcomes, and selects nursing interventions that can assist the patient to establish an optimum level of wellness. Short or long-term goals are established that focus on what the patient will be able to do or achieve, not what the nurse will do. The objective measures of those goals or outcomes specifically determines that the patient will do or what the patient will do under what circumstances and within a specified or specific time frame. The nurse also discusses the goals and outcomes with the patient or caregiver, and these are prioritized to address immediate needs first. The planning phase links the strategies or interventions to the established goals and outcomes. After administering medications, the nurse should establish clear, realistic goals and the outcomes so that the planned interventions ensure safe and effective use of these drugs. The nurse establishes priorities based on what the assessment data and nursing diagnosis are. Now, with high priority needs addressed before low priority needs. With respect to pharmacotherapy, the planning phase involves two main components: drug administration and patient teaching. The overall goal of the nursing plan of care is the safe and effective administration of medication. To achieve this, the nurse focuses on safe medication administration and monitoring of the patient's condition and planning for the patient teaching needs related to the drugs prescribed. The nurse may focus on goals related to pharmacotherapy for the short term or long term, depending on the setting and situation. For example, for a patient with a thrombus in the lower extremity who is placed on anticoagulant therapy, a short-term goal may be that the patient will not experience an increase in clot size, as evidenced by improving circulation to the lower extremity distal to the clot. A long-term goal might focus on teaching the patient to effectively administer parenteral anticoagulant therapy at home. Like assessment data, pharmacotherapy goals should focus first on therapeutic outcomes of medications and then on the prevention or treatment of adverse effects and patient teaching needs. For the patient on pain medication, relief of pain is a priority established before the treatment of nausea, vomiting, or dizziness caused by the medication. The nurse should remember, however, that planning for the prevention or treatment of expected adverse effects is an integral step of the planning phase. Outcomes are the specific criteria used to measure attainment of the selected goals. They are written to include the subject, usually the patient, the actions required by that subject, under what circumstances, the expected performance, and the specific time frame in which the subject will accomplish that performance. In the example of the patient who will be taught to self-administer anticoagulant therapy at home, an outcome may be written as patient will demonstrate the injection of enoxaparin using the preloaded syringe provided, given subcutaneously into the anterior abdominal areas in 2 days or 1 day prior to discharge. And this outcome includes the subject, the patient, the action, demonstration of injection, circumstances, using a preloaded syringe, performance, subcutaneous injection into the abdomen, and time frame, 2 days from now, 1 day before discharge at home. Writing specific outcomes also gives the nurse a concrete time frame to work toward assisting the patient to meet the goals. In the case of children or the mentally impaired, the pharmacotherapeutic outcome include the caregiver responsible for administering the medication in the home setting. After goals and outcomes are identified based on the nursing diagnosis, a plan of care is written and documented in the patient's chart or electronic health record. Each agency determines whether this plan will be communicated as either nursing-centered or interdisciplinary or both. All plans should be patient-focused and include the patient or caregiver in their development. The goal and outcomes identified in the planning of care will assist the nurse and other healthcare providers in implementing interventions and evaluating the effectiveness of that care. For your nursing intervention and rationale, the implementation phase is when the nurse applies the knowledge, skills, and principles of nursing care to help move the patient toward the desired goal and optimal wellness. Implementing involves action on the part of the nurse or patient, administering a drug, providing patient teaching, and initiating other specific actions identified by the plan of care. When applied to pharmacotherapy, the implementation phase involves administering the medication, continuing to assess the patient, and monitoring drug effects. Carrying out the interventions developed in the planning phase to maximize the therapeutic responses and prevent adverse events, and providing patient education to ensure safe and effective home use of the medications. Monitoring drug effects is a primary intervention that nurses perform. A thorough knowledge of the actions of each medication is necessary to carry out this monitoring process. The nurse should first monitor for the identified therapeutic effects. A lack of sufficient therapeutic effects suggests the need to reassess pharmacotherapy. Monitoring may require a reassessment of the patient's physical condition, vital signs, body weight, laboratory values, or serum drug levels. The patient's statement about pain relief as well as objective data such as a change in blood pressure or used to monitor the therapeutic outcomes of uh, pharmacotherapy. The nurse also monitors for side and adverse effects and attempts to prevent or limit these effects when possible. Now, the intervention phase includes appropriate documentation of the administration of the medication as well as any adverse effects observed or reported by the patient. The nurse may include additional objective assessment data such as vital signs in the documentation to provide more details about the specific drug effects. Statements from the patient can provide subjective detail to the documentation. Each healthcare facility determines where, when, and how to document the administration of medications and any follow-up assessment data gathered. Patient teaching is a vital component of the nurse's intervention for a patient receiving medications. Knowledge deficit and even non-compliance are directly related to the type and quality of education regarding medication that a patient receives. State nurse practice acts and regulating bodies such as the Joint Commission, which accredits healthcare agencies, consider teaching to be a primary role for nurses, giving it the weight of law and key importance in accreditation standards. Because the goals of pharmacotherapy are the safe administration of medications with the best therapeutic outcome possible, teaching is aimed at providing the patient with the information necessary to ensure that this occurs. Every nurse-patient interaction can present an opportunity for teaching. Small portions of education given over time are often more effective than large amounts of information given on only one occasion. Discussing medications each time they are administered is an effective way to increase the amount of education accomplished. So we have the following: proper drug administration. We have 7 points or the 7 rights of every patient that would ensure safe and effective drug administration. We have first the right drug and patient. Next would be the right storage of drug, the right and most effective route, the right dose, the right preparation, the right timing, and right recording of administration. Remembering to review each point before administering a drug will help to prevent medication errors and improve the patient outcomes. We have your comfort measures. This is a patient that is more likely to be compliant in taking of the drugs, but they are also not too uncomfortable or overwhelming for speaking of the effects of the regimen. For the placebo effect, this is the anticipation that a drug will be helpful, whether you give a helpful advice, a kind word, and a positive approach. It could be beneficial to the medication also. Even the administration of plain drugs, that which has no therapeutic contents, just plain sterile water would even work for patients who are in high complaints of illness and are dramatically asking for medication even though they just received the latest medication. Managing adverse effects, we're talking about interventions including environmental control, safety measures, and physical comfort measures for the patient. Avoiding the sun, using side rails, avoiding driving, so those things as done in the nursing theory of Florence Nightingale, that the environmental factors are very much effective in helping the patients recover from the illnesses and even managing the different adverse effects that may be present because of the medication. You have then your lifestyle adjustment, wherein some medications and their effects would require that the patient make different changes in the way they are living. For example, in taking diuretics, they may have to rearrange their day so as to be near in toilet facilities or toilet places when the peak of drug is reached. Taking biphosphonates will need also to plan their morning so that they can take the drug on an empty stomach. Stay upright for at least 1.5 or just a half hour and plan their first food of the day at least uh, half an hour after taking the medication. Patient and family education, we're talking about with patients becoming increasingly responsible for their own care. It is essential that they have all the information necessary in ensuring safe and effective drug therapy at home. Many states now require that patients are given written information on how to administer, when to administer, where to administer, and why is it necessary to administer the medications. Now, the table summarizes key areas of teaching and provides sample teachings or questions the nurse might ask or observations that the nurse can make to verify that the teaching was effective. The nursing process focused flowchart also supply information on specific drugs and drug classes and information that is important to include in patient teaching for that particular classification of drugs, both to ensure the therapeutic effects and to minimize adverse effects. Providing written material assists the patient to retain the information and review it later. Providing a small notebook or other writing material allows the patient or family to keep a list of questions related to the medication that they may not have thought to ask at the time the drug is administered. Some medications, they come with a self-contained teaching program that includes videotapes. The nurse should always assess whether the patient is able to read and understand the material provided. Patient educational materials are effective if the reading levels above what the patient can understand, or is it in a language unfamiliar to the patient? Even patients with low reading ability may describe the reading as good, and providing verbal instructions along with written materials may help to clarify anything the patient cannot read. The nurse may have the patient summarize key points after providing the teaching to verify that the patient has understood the information. Pediatric patients often present special challenges to patient teaching. Specialized pediatric teaching materials may assist the nurse in teaching these patients. Parents of children must be included in the medication administration process. The nurse should base medication administration in pediatric patients on safe pediatric doses and limiting potential adverse drug effects. Medication research often does not include children, so data are often unclear on safe pediatric doses and potential adverse drugs reaction in this population. There is also a greater risk for serious medication errors since the administration in children often require drug calculations using smaller number, and the patient must be vigilant to ensure that the dosage is correct, because even small errors in drug doses have the potential to cause serious adverse effects in infants and children. The older adult population presents the nurse with additional nursing and additional considerations. Age-appropriate teaching materials that are repeated slowly and provided in small increments may assist the nurse in teaching these patients, and it may be necessary to co-teach the patient's caregiver. Older adult patients often have chronic illness and age-related changes that they may cause okay effects to be unpredictable. Now, because of chronic uh, diseases, older adults often take multiple drugs that they may cause many drug-to-drug interactions. The evaluation phase compares the patient's current health status with the desired outcome. This step is important to determine if the plan of care is appropriate, if it was met, or if it needs revision. If it was met, the plan of care was appropriate and the problem or risk was resolved. The nurse and the patient can then address the next highest priority health need. If the goal was partially met, the patient is moving towards the goal. but the nurse may need to continue intervention for a longer time or somehow modify interventions to completely resolve the problem. The nursing process comes full circle as the nurse reassesses the patient, reviews the nursing diagnosis, makes necessary changes, reviews and rewrites goals and outcomes, and carries out further intervention to meet the stated goals and outcomes. As it relates to pharmacotherapy, evaluation is used to determine whether the therapeutic effects of the drug were achieved, as well as whether adverse effects were prevented or kept to acceptable levels. If the evaluation data show no improvement over the baseline data, the interventions may require revisions. Now, the drug dose may need to be increased. More time may be needed to achieve therapeutic drug levels, or a different or additional drug may be needed. The nurse also evaluates the effectiveness of teaching provided and notes areas where further drug education is needed by the patient. Evaluation is not the end of the process but the beginning of another cycle as the nurse continues to work to ensure safe and effective medication use and active patient involvement in his or her care. It is a checkpoint where the nurse considers the overall goal of safe and effective administration of medication and uh, takes the step necessary to maximize the success of pharmacotherapy. The nursing process acts as the overall framework for working towards this success. That will be all for your uh, nursing process in pharmacotherapy. Now, all of the information, of course, they are taken from the book that was uh, asked by the university and the College of Nursing for the students to purchase and use. Again, all of this information are from Pharmacology, a patient-centered nursing process approach. 11th edition as written by Linda E. McQuistion and her co-authors. Thank you very much everyone and have a nice day.